Hello, kid, and dun 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 dun. Welcome to this extra patriotic presidential kid time story time.
Wait, did you say presidential?
Oh, I did, Green Bear.
Get my flag! Get my flag!
Okay, I'm gonna go get it. It's across the room.
Go! Okay, kid, while StoryTeller's gone, I don't know what's going on around here, but, Grace for president? No way. Everybody knows that around here at KidTime StoryTime, it's Green Bear for president. So, oh, hey, StoryTeller.
Hi, I'm back with your flag.
Okay, wave it just like that.
Okay.
So, if you believe in chocolate for everybody and no homework on weekends and equal rights for all people, even if they're green, you have to vote for me, not Grace.
Wait a minute. What are you doing? What are you telling them?
This Grace for president. You know, StoryTeller, you know that I want to be president of the United States of America.
Well, but, just like you have a dream, well, I mean, Grace also can have a dream.
No, it is my dream.
Well, but, I mean, a lot of people have the same dream. As you know, kid, when people run for president, there's usually a lot of people who want to be president.
But it's going to be me. Oh, good thing you're here. You can be my witness. Oh, no, what have I walked into? Okay, so this is the deal. Okay, do you think she's older than me?
Yeah, Grace looks a little bit older than you.
Okay, fine. These are my conditions, my terms, my compromise, if you will. Are you going to write this down? Can I just remember it? Fine. Okay, she can be president, this Grace person, but as soon as I am ready to be president, she must leave so I can be president. And that is my final offer. Did you get that?
I got it.
Okay. I still don't know what we're talking about.
Okay. Well, now that that's settled, shall we? Grace for president? All right. Oh, let's see. Who do we have here? We have Teddy Roosevelt, Abraham Lincoln, JFK, FDR. That's Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And wait a minute. This isn't a president. That's Grace. Well, not a president yet. One Monday morning in September, Mrs. Barrington rolled out a big poster with all the president's pictures on it. Grace Campbell, our heroine right there, could not believe her eyes. Where are the girls? Oh, well, Grace. Well, that is a very good question, said Mrs. Barrington. The truth is, our country has never had a woman president. No girl president? Ever? Nope, I'm afraid not. Grace sat at her desk and stewed. Look at that face of stewing and consternation. No girls? Who'd ever heard of such a crazy thing? Finally, she raised her hands. Yes, Grace? I've been thinking it over, and I'd like to be president. Several students in the class laughed, and she's like, oh my. Well, I think that's a star-spangled idea, Grace. Oh, I like that adjective, said Mrs. Barrington. In fact, we can have our own election right here at Woodrow Wilson Elementary. Oh, named after another president. The snickering in the room, snickering is like, it stopped. Grace smiled. Would anyone else like to run for president? Mrs. Barrington asked the class. Nobody raised their hand. No competition. Well, that's unheard of in real life. Becoming president was going to be easy, Grace thought. I feel like there's a twist coming. The next day, Mrs. Barrington made an announcement. In the name of democracy, I have invited Mr. Waller's class to join our election. Their class has nominated Thomas Cobb to be their presidential candidate. Ding! Grace's heart sank. Why? Well, apparently, Thomas was the it boy in school. He was the school spelling bee champion. His experiments always took a blue ribbon at the science fair, and he was captain of the soccer team. Whoa, those are some strong credentials. Becoming president wasn't going to be so easy after all, Grace thought. I mean, you do need to have a resume of accomplishments. The teachers put the names of all 50 states and the District of Columbia into a hat. Oh, looks like a little tiny hat. Everyone except for Grace and Thomas got to choose a state. I'm Texas, said Anthony. I'm New Hampshire, said Rose. I'm Michigan, said Robbie. What does the number 17 mean? Each state is assigned a number of electoral votes. That number is determined by how many people live in that state, said Smarty Pants Mrs. Barrington. Each of you will be a representative for your state. Altogether, our country has 538 electoral votes, Mr. Waller explained. On election day, the candidate who receives 270 electoral votes or more wins the election. Why 270? Asked Rose. Well, that's more than half of all the electoral votes, Mr. Waller said. Ooh, becoming president really wasn't gonna be so easy, Grace thought. So Grace came up with a campaign slogan. That's right, you need a good campaign to overcome any deficits you might have. Now, let's see. Her campaign slogan was, "Make history. Vote Grace Campbell for president." Now, Thomas came up with his own campaign slogan. You don't expect him to just sit around and do nothing, right? "Vote for Thomas Cobb, the best man for the job." I see he emphasized man. That's interesting. Grace listened to what issues were important to the students, and she made a list of campaign promises. Apparently, this youngin' right here complaining about school cafeteria food, and this fella right here complaining about school bullying. That's going unsupervised, apparently, according to the black mark on his face, I see. And she's complaining about the sky is too big. Thomas made up his own list of promises. Let's see here. Free tutoring, free soccer lessons, fish stick tacos every week. Now, wait a minute. Is he trying to buy off the classroom? Because, I mean, do you have money to feed your school fish tacos every week? And free tutoring? He's just one kid. Free soccer lessons? Well, what are hers? Let's see. A peaceful school, no bullies. A cleaner school, no littering. Oh, she was complaining about littering, not the sky being too big. My mistake. And better hot lunches. No more fish stick tacos. Oh, that's funny. And he's proposing more fish stick tacos. Ooh, it's going to be a hard fight. The pro and fish people, that gets ugly. So Grace made campaign posters and buttons, and Thomas made posters and buttons too. Oh, look at that. It looks like a real campaign now. Each week, the teacher set aside time for the candidates to meet with their constituents. That's right, the students are their constituents. They're the ones who they will be representing. Polls were taken. Voters were making their choices. And we have here the Grace contingency. Grace, the girl for the job. Vote Grace. Grace for president. Make history. Grace for president. And here's Thomas is the man for the job. Thomas for president. Thomas can do the job. Thomas is number one. You can't go wrong with Thomas Cobb on the job. Oh, that's good. Rhyming is always really good in posters. At recess, Grace continued to campaign and gave speeches. My fellow students! During lunch, she handed out free cupcakes. Oh, a little swag. I see. After school, she held rallies. Vote for Grace. Vote for Grace. It's not a disgrace to vote for Grace. Meanwhile, Thomas, he wasn't worried at all. Let's see, he was tallying up. He had cleverly calculated that the boys held slightly more electoral votes than the girls. Oh, so he's just assuming that the boys will only vote for the boys and the girls will only vote for the girls and not on issues that they're discussing. At recess, Thomas studied his spelling words. During lunch, he worked on his latest science experiment. After school, he played soccer. Oh, I see. So while she's giving speeches at recess and handing out cupcakes at lunch and rallying after school, he's just doing his thing. He's studying, he's doing his experiments, he's focusing on his athletics. I mean, none of this is bad, but if you're running a campaign, you have to make the campaign your number one goal. Even before the election, Grace made good on her promises. Oh, she's already fulfilling campaign promises before she's even elected? She joined the safety squad, she organized a school beautification committee, and she volunteered her time in the school cafeteria. I guess to get a hands-on look at how lunch is made and how to make it better. Look at that. She's kissing babies, she's giving speeches, she's making the school more beautiful, she's helping in the cafeteria, she's on the safety squad. Wow. Yeah, that's right. Take a seat, lady. You must be tired after all that hard work. Oh, in early November, Woodrow Wilson Elementary hosted a special election day assembly. Grace, Thomas, took their places on stage as a school band began to play. Henry was the first representative to approach the microphone. The Yellowhammer state of Alabama casts its non-electoral votes for Thomas Cobb. The last frontier state, that's Fletcher, of Alaska cast its 3 electoral votes for the best man for the job, Thomas Cobb. Then Hannah called out, the Grand Canyon state of Arizona casts its 10 electoral votes for Grace Campbell. And so it went on and on and on and on, just like a real convention. State after state after state cast their electoral votes. The scoreboard in the gymnasium kept track of the totals. Ooh. The voting demonstration was quickly coming to an end. Clara approached the podium. The Badger State of Wisconsin casts its 10 votes for my best friend, Grace Campbell. Grace looked at the scoreboard. Oh, it's a squeaker. Thomas had 268 electoral votes. She had 267. There was only one state still unaccounted for. Wyoming. You never hear about Wyoming being the deciding factor. Oh, and it's a boy. And remember, Thomas was counting on all the boys. Are we going to have a twist? Or is it going to be like we thought? What's it going to be? Thomas grinned. Grace felt sick. Sam walked up to the microphone. He looked at Thomas. He looked at Grace. I'm not showing. I don't want to show yet. He looked at Thomas. Looked at Grace. He looked down at Grace's handmade flag. Sam didn't say a word. What are you waiting for? Thomas whispered. The band stopped playing. All eyes were on Wyoming. Finally, Sam cleared his throat. The Equality State of Wyoming casts its 3 electoral votes for... Who? I don't know. I thought I was going to be there. Who? Grace Campbell! The gymnasium erupted in loud cheers and also a few boos. There's always that guy, you know. Mrs. Barrington approached the podium. With 270 electoral votes, the winner is Grace Campbell. Thomas looked stunned. Grace hugged Sam. Why did you do it? She asked. Sam handed Grace his flag. Because, he said, I thought you were the best person for the job. The following week, the students in Mrs. Barrington's class were preparing for their career day presentations, and Grace, the president, volunteered to go first. She stood at the front of the room and glanced at the posters still hanging on the wall. My name is Grace Campbell, and when I grow up, I'm going to be President of the United States. This time, everyone believed that she would.